Peace, love, and light. And today I want to come with a quick Zodiac update. And I want to talk about what I've been going through for the past, I want to say, week. As soon as Gemini came in, and as soon as I realized that the Mercury retrograde was happening, like the first day I realized the Mercury retrograde was happening, I got a visit from a friend, and it was an old friend from college that I met maybe like almost about 15 years ago or something like that. And we were talking, and like we were going to get something to eat, and for some reason my phone was like acting weird. Like it was like the electricity of it, like the electricity of it. It just wasn't acting right. It just felt like I was like pressing the buttons and they wouldn't like press. I don't know. Like me touching the phone caused it not to work correctly. Like it just wasn't working correctly. But even beyond that, like the communication period was like different. Like it wasn't as fluid as it had been prior to the Mercury retrograde. But I didn't know this until like I realized that it was the Mercury retrograde. Like I knew that something was going on with communication, and I knew that something was different about it, but I didn't know that it had to do with Mercury retrograde because I just didn't know. I wasn't keeping up with it. But as soon as I read about it and noticed that it was the Mercury retrograde, it made sense for me. And the reason why it's impacted me so much is because, for one, we're in Gemini, and in Gemini is one of my it's my Venus. So like communication is very important to me. So the fact that we're in Mercury retrograde affects me in that way. It affects my the way that I communicate on a love level, and it's changed the way that I've been communicating. Like my communication was fluid. It was very clear, very informative, and then it went to like a very like spotty and kind of not clear communication. Like it only lasted for like a few days though, and I think that's when it was really heavy. But even like today, I experienced like some retrograde energy where like old patterns and old energy was coming up, and what it was asking me to do was to decide whether I wanted that energy to stay or whether I wanted that energy to go. And it was just my awareness of that allowed me to really be in the moment but not be really in the moment. Like to be aware that it was past energy, but not to be stuck in the past energy. So I was allowed to move in the past energy differently than I would have if I would have just got lost in the moment 333. And I learned that I could create a different path for myself by being in the moment and allowing myself to be aware of what was going on in the moment. Like the fact that it was old energy, and I was being asked to decide what I wanted to do with this old energy. Did I want to give it energy, or did I want to put my energy elsewhere? And I chose to put my energy elsewhere because I don't want to go back into old patterns. I don't want to go back into old habits. I want to move forward. I want to continue on my journey. I don't want to get stuck doing the same things over and over again, because that's not progressing. That's not progression. And that's what I want to do. I want to move beyond all the old energy that I have and to bring in new energy and to experience new things. And that's what I've been putting energy into. But today was I want to say the past week was a big test for me to decide what I wanted to do as far as moving forward. And I'm sure that it's not the only day, or it's not the only test that I'll have, but maybe it'll be I want to say like let's say a guide that changes the trajectory of my path. Like it changes the way that I move on my path and the energy that I magnetize to myself and the way that I go on the path that I'm seeking to go on. Because I don't necessarily want to do something that's already been experienced by that's already been experienced in a past life, which a lot of my past life energy is very very heavy right now. Like I can literally hear things that are going on in another dimension going on at like simultaneously as I'm living out my day to day, and it's not the exact same thing that I'm experiencing right now, but it's like a different perspective of what I'm experiencing right now. Like some of it is very similar, but some of it is very different at the same time, and for that I'm very thankful for. But also I want to make sure I make the right decisions because I know how important it is to have lived in that past life and to have gone through the things that I went through in that past life, but I don't want to go back through the things that I've been through in that past life because that'll only lead me to living, the same cycle over again, and I don't want to do that because it's pointless. And that's what I've been seeing throughout this lifetime, moving through this dimension that I'm moving through. I've seen how pointless some of the things that I went through in a past life was. Like not in the sense that it wasn't necessary in that dimension, in that moment of that dimension, but I see it as unnecessary to go through whole experiences that I've already lived through because they've already been experienced. Like the energy of those moments is gone. It's no longer here. And it's no longer relevant to me, so I don't see the purpose of living them again, like after this present lifetime that I'm living in. Like that's just what I've learned so far, and maybe I'll learn even more to have a greater understanding than that, which I'm totally hoping for because I want to see what it all means and why it all is. Of course, I have my theory of why it all is, but I want to know a little bit more of why it all is. But this is what I've been going through. Like the Mercury retrograde energy is very real. It's not what people think it is. It's not a joke. It's not a hoax. It's not any of that. It's very real. Like everything that they say about the Mercury retrograde is true. And that's no joke. Like it's like we read things and we experience things, but we don't know how real they are until we actually are in those moments. And they don't seem real to us until we're actually in those moments and we have like explanations for them. Like people actually go through these things and they actually are real, but we don't think they're real until it happens to us. But that's with everything in life, and you can't blame anybody for that. But that's just something that I've come to the realization of, and I really have been thinking about that a lot, not just in terms of the retrograde, but in everything. Like nothing seems real until we actually go through it. But that's like even with any experience. Like it could be with anything, but it's not just words. None of it is just words. None of it is just things that people say or things that are only experienced by other people or like theory. Like the energy is very real, and the energy can be experienced by you. It can be understood by you, even if you're not aware of why the things are happening. Like if you don't have like something to go to understand it, then that doesn't mean that it can't happen to you or it's not happening to you. It means that you're just not aware of what it is that is happening to you. And of course you can call forth, like, the answers or the explanations for whatever you're going through, but you have to have that awareness. You have to have that level of understanding to where you can ask the questions of what's going on to me, or how can I get the answers of what's going on to me. And you don't necessarily want to ask why I'm going through the thing that I'm going through, because that's more like that's like complaining. You want to come at it like you're complaining. You want to come at it from a level of understanding. Like we want to understand why you're going through these things, not necessarily complaining about it, but to get clarity, to get answers to the situations that you're going through, not complaining about the situation that you go through. Like that's one of the things that I can definitely say about myself. I don't complain about anything that I'm going through, because I know that everything I'm going through has meaning, has purpose, and has a lesson behind it, and I accept that. And in accepting that, I've been able to understand things better and to see things better and more clearly, and it's allowed me to just appreciate each situation that I've been in a different way. Like I literally can say that because I've experienced these moments before, and in experiencing these moments before, I totally had a different perspective. Like it wasn't as pure as the one that I'm experiencing now. Like it wasn't as clear, it wasn't as understood as I'm experiencing now, and I'm very thankful for the work that I put in a past lifetime. And I'm very thankful for being in the dimension that I'm in. Like, being multidimensional is very, very interesting. And I'm just now getting, like, I want to say the gist of it, or the full understanding of it, because it's even deeper than I thought it was a year ago. Like I've known this for years, but a year ago I thought I understood what it meant to be multidimensional, but I understand it much more now than I ever did. Like I've been able to see the dimensions that I've walked through, or that I'm walking through, and I'm able to know when I'm walking into a dimension. That's with me, like focusing on numbers. Like I don't know if the numbers are universal for everybody, so I don't know if I should say the numbers, but they've helped me to navigate through the dimensions. Even though I will say numbers are universal, but I believe that the numbers may have a different meaning for me than it may for other people, and maybe they don't. I don't know yet. That's something that I'm learning. But when I'm sure about that, I will share. But that's helped me to really understand the dimensions, and it's helped me to know when I'm going through a dimension, and even know when, like, I'm experiencing like things in a dimension, like, because a lot of the things in a dimension are mirror, like they are a reflection, like they repeat. And when you notice they repeat, that's either when you are already in the dimension or you just walk into the dimension. It's much like what they say in the Matrix when they say deja vu, but it's no different from the moment that you experienced. No, it's very different from the moment you experience, because you're like walking into the experience. But if you're aware that you're walking into the experience, you can look at it differently, and that's what I was trying to say. And it just really helped me to navigate the through the dimensions better, and that's what really started to come in when I came into Gemini. Like I started to see that more and more. Like Gemini is a very interesting time. Like it's a very different time. Like I've been balancing out like my energy a lot in Gemini, because Gemini is, like I said, is very special to me. But I've been really focused on balancing out my energy, and really balancing out my love energy, and understanding that in these situations I need to be more compassionate, I need to be more understanding, I need to be more cognizant of what I'm going through and what I'm experiencing. But I need to view it from a perspective of love, and to balance out my love energy, like my masculine energy, out with my feminine energy. Because like real talk, I've been focused on my balancing out my masculine energy, and doing it in a healthy way rather than doing it in a unhealthy way, and to just really understand what that energy is. So I've been connecting on that level with myself, within myself, because I've had a lot of toxic masculine energy in me for a long time, and I didn't know it until recently. Like I talked about it in the forgiveness video, but I really have come to terms with that, and I really have been balancing that out, and changing and transmuting that energy into healthy energy and usable energy, and to gain more understanding of myself and for myself, because it's helped me to really understand where I've been wrong in certain situations. Well, I'm not gonna necessarily say wrong. I'm gonna say where I've been unbalanced in certain situations, and not aware that I was unbalanced in those situations, because balance is far more important than right or wrong, because it's all about being balanced, being stable, and your awareness of that actually affects your life. It affects every situation that you go through. So it's very important to be balanced in everything that you do, and that's just something that I really have learned, and I'm still learning, but it's something that I've learned and that I'm going through like right now, and it's been helping me a lot. I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for that, and really appreciate the many lessons that I've got from balancing out these energies, because they've been toxic energies that I've had to release, and I've been doing that a lot. Like I've been breathing a little bit differently. Like I've been releasing like a lot of old spiritual energy, and even like I don't know if we moved through Earth sign like in the time of Gemini, like maybe like the moon has, but I've been releasing a lot of Earth energy too, and that's helped me out as well, which it always does. So I'm very thankful for that as well. But and something else too, what the full moon was in Sagittarius, which my moon is Sagittarius. So like leading up to that, I was going through like a lot, and I couldn't really figure out what it was. But once I realized that the moon was in Sagittarius, I knew that it was my shadow energy, like coming to like, power, coming to light, and it was just like really, really intense because it was a super moon. And with it being a super moon in Gemini, I was really faced with a lot of this energy, and it really helped me come to terms with a lot of things that were in the dark that I wasn't aware of, like the patterns, the toxic energy was like really highlighted, like in a way that I could observe it and really look at it rather than, just allowing it or experiencing it in the dark and not really knowing what it is or why it is, but seeing it and understanding that it was, or rather is, shadow energy and energy connected to my moon. And it wasn't things that could be hidden at that point, because it was supermoon. It was highlighted by the supermoon, and it was very much in my awareness, and I was very aware of what it was that I was experiencing, rather than it just like being in the shadows. And it actually helped me a lot. Like I really was going through a lot, but it helped me a lot to see what it was that I was going through, and what it is that I experience when I'm not like consciously aware of it or able to really see it or experience it, if that makes sense. But yeah, and that's pretty much it, because I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. But other than that, I want to say that I love you, and I hope that you have a great day.